Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another Kano Tryharding Modern. Today, we will be playing Tron. Now, this version of Tron is just whatever the most recent version on Goldfish is. Does not have golos in it, obviously. We're back down to 18 lands. We're running 2 O-Stones and an All Is Dust for board wipes, and no main deck Grave Hate, which is interesting to me because I've been seeing Dredge kind of at the top of the queues lately. Just anecdotal evidence, because I don't get to the top of the queues that often. I've just happened to have been running into it there. So it's kind of an interesting thing to me. We also are back to having at least one dismember in the main. We got a fairly decent-sized artifact wishboard out of the side. Nothing too crazy in it. I'm glad to see Sky Sovereign back in it, because I really enjoy that card as a wish target. I don't wish for it enough. I still don't feel great about having a Walking Ballista in the main deck, but let's go ahead, fire up a queue, see what happens. Alright, we'll be on the draw for round 1, and this is a mulligan. This is actually kind of close to keepable. We do get one redraw. If we draw map for the first draw, or if we draw stirrings or scrying by the second, you know what? I'm going to try it. We're going to put back a forest. Alright, opponent starts Spire, Bluff, Canal, and Swift Spear. This hand's probably too slow for burn or blitz. They did mulligan to 6, so I mean, I guess there's that. If worse comes to worse, I could get a slightly discounted price on Dismember if my opponent plays like a Stormwing entity. I think I'd actually probably do that, considering I'm holding a forest. I just know, though, if I crack Star for black, I'm gonna draw Sylvan Scrying. It's just what's gonna happen every time. Alright, we're getting Lightning Bolted. Down to 16. Lava Dart. Down to 15. They hit us for 3, we go to 12. Oh. I think because my opponent only has 2 cards left, I gotta go with the Dismember play. It's a turn 4 Tron. Oh, we could have had Karn, but Karn's not probably gonna be that great. Oh, I don't like this. I mean, obviously, best top deck would be Urza's Mine, because then we could just cast Karn, but it's a turn 4 Karn and a turn 5 Ulamog, which is probably just too slow versus Blitz. I think that was probably a misclick by the opponent. I don't think that will buy us enough time unless I top deck a Mine and can play Karn. But that definitely smacks of a misclick. Get an O-Stone, play a Forest. Scrying, we'll go get Mine. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They play a Sprite Dragon and don't attack. We draw Thragtusk, which is very tempting to cast here. I mean, I can play Thragtusk and O-Stone. That's probably safer than just Karning a Sprite Dragon. Play Thragtusk. Gain life. Play Oblivion Stone. Pass the turn. If you had asked me to predict how this game was going to go, I would not have said any of the things that have happened to this game. So next turn will be probably Ulamogging away my opponent's lands. Alright, opponent attacks us. Hits us with a mutagenic growth. We take 4. Then they play a Stormwing entity. Maybe we just activate O-Stone. And Karning away their land, or not Karning, but Ulamogging away their lands is very tempting, but yeah, let's just take out their creatures. We can play Karn to hit a land next turn. We're hitting them for 5, and this is a lethal attack. Them coming up with 10 damage with 1 card in hand and 2 Lava Darts in the grave, of which they can only flashback 1's probably not that likely. I'm just not fully caffeinated yet, so I'm struggling. Alright, we got him. Cool. Thank you, main deck Thragtusks. So versus Burn, we definitely want Spatial Contortion, probably over Dismember. I think that's probably it, unless Blitz is playing Damping Sphere, which I really doubt. Let me take a look at the metagame here. Let's see. What decks does Monastery Swift Spear run in? Blitz. Out of the sideboard, they might have some Abrades or Spell Pierces. They do play Alpine Moon, which would take us off of Tron. So I guess I will bring in Nature's Claim. And we will cut an Ulamog and I think 1 Karn. Karn not quite as good versus the decks that go very wide. Karn's good when your opponent taps out every turn to play a big threat. Alright, Definitely not keeping this one. No, this is close. Big problem is we want to lead on Expedition Map, but we also want to lead on Chromatic Star. I think I'm going to try and keep this, and we're going to lead on Chromatic Star. That's going to be our best chance, unless I top deck a Tron land for first draw that isn't Power Plant. Opponent did keep a hand of 7. They're leading on Scalding Tarn, Shocking Steam Vents, and they play a Soul Scar Mage. We untap, draw Walking Ballista. Nope, time to play Chromatic Star, because we really need to hit that second land. Now, obviously, best top deck sequence here would be like, we top deck Mine, and either cycle into Tower or cycle into Sylvan Scrying. But probably what's going to happen is we're going to top deck nothing and need to Ancient Stirrings, and then play Map. So for like a turn 4 Tron assembly, we do have All Is Dust, which is a massive board recovery, even if we don't get the 4th land for Ugin. So hopefully that works out for us. Opponent's deep in the tank this turn, trying to think about what to do. If they end up abrading this Chromatic Star, that's basically going to cement the point for why I led on it instead of Expedition Map. We basically have to draw an extra card here at all costs. Alright. They attack for 1. They cast Mutagenic Growth, hitting us for 4, taking us to 16. They then crack Bloodstained Mire on their second main. Shocking Steam Vents, probably casting Stormwing Entity. Alright. Well, things are not looking good for our intrepid hero. We untap, draw Sanctum, attack Star for green. We get a Nature's Claim, Ancient Stirrings. Take Mine. Rest of the bottom in any order. Play Expedition Map. And I think we basically have to top deck Tower. Like, I don't think there's anything else we could do here. Because we're going to need to cast All Is Dust if we're going to survive. Opponent plays Sprite Dragon and attacks us for a lot. We go to 11. Okay, opponent lights up the stage. Walking Ballista no longer capable of killing Sprite Dragon. This really sucks that 5th card in that Ancient Stirrings was Tower. We draw Star. Well, I could claim my own Star. It wouldn't be pretty though. Well, we're gonna go Tutor for Tower, because we don't really have a choice here. They have Stormwing Entity and a Lightning Bolt and 1 card in hand, and I'm pretty sure that is lethal. So let's play Chromatic Star. I don't think we sack it. I think we just cast Walking Ballista and hope to block a little bit of damage. Pass the turn. I'm pretty sure this is lethal, though. We're at 11. Bolt us to 8. We chump here. We take 4, 7 more. We're at 1. And that is provided that they have no other non-creature spells in hand, which they almost certainly do. If they didn't have that light up the stage, we might have had a chance, because I could at least play Walking Ballista, chump, and try and kill Sprite Dragon. But second Sprite Dragon. Alright. Okay, million prowess triggers. Let me think about this. I can ping here to prevent 2 damage, or I can block to prevent 2 damage. The only way that matters at all is if they have a free spell in hand, which I'm not sure if they do or don't. Am I dead here? Let's see. 3, 7, 9, death. Yep. Alright. They got me. No adjustments. We'll just run it back. That's one reason that I really don't like Walking Ballista, main deck in Tron. And I don't really have anything better than it in the sideboard. Like, I could bring Karn back in. But, like, technically it can snipe a Sprite Dragon. But if I play it at any early turn, other than the turn where we have natural Tron, it just doesn't do anything. It's great as a finisher. It's great as a wishboard target. I think the card is terrible in the main deck. Occasionally you get some insane, "Ooh, I'm glad I had this in the highlight reel," but it would almost always be better as a Spatial Contortion, or another Dismember, or a Relic of Progenitus. Just like anything that could cycle you through your deck faster or actually delay your opponent. I think just having it in the wishboard is enough. But what do I know? I'm just some guy on the internet. Alright. Natural Tron. Let's go. We even have Karn Great Creator. If we get a Sphere or Star, we can play Thragtusk. Or if we get Alpine Mooned, we can probably play Thragtusk. Alright. Mine, map. Go. I might even be mapping for a forest, we'll see. Opponent plays Spire Bluff, Soul Scar. We untap. A second tower. Definitely mapping for a forest or a blast zone. Pass the turn. See what our opponent does. I might even leave map on board on the off chance that I want to get an ensnaring bridge here. Alright, Sprite Dragon. Opponent goes to combat and attacks us for 2. We go to 18. Let's go get a forest. We untap. We draw Ancient Stirrings. Play Tower. I think we go for the Trinisphere here. I could wish for Walking Ballista, but Trinisphere seems much better. Like, the best play my opponent could have is Land of Braid. I guess Land of Braid plus the rest of their hand being free spells would kill us, but there'd be nothing we could do about that. Play Trinisphere, pass the turn. Next turn, we can Ancient Stirrings, or we can play Thragtusk. There's pretty close to 0 chance that Karn survives. They Lightning Bolt Karn. Going face. So we're going to take 4 this turn. Alright. We go to 14. We draw a forest. Play a forest. I think I'm going to go with the Ancient Stirrings here. Do I take Liberated or another Great Creator? Liberated can hit mana base easy. I think we take Great Creator because we have a second tower in hand. Alright, rest to the bottom. Pass the turn. Like, next turn I could play Karn and Thragtusk. That would be pretty sweet. Opponent plays Fiery Islet. They can still only cast 1 spell this turn. We get Burst Lightninged. Alright, we untap. We draw an Urza's Mine. Well, unless we're playing Nature's Claim and Thragtusk, we don't need double green this turn. I could wish for Sky Sovereign and shoot down Sprite Dragon. This would be 4 here, and then 5. I wouldn't be able to Nature's Claim on top of all of that, though. I could wish for a big Ballista. Well, it would about have the same result. It would be slightly worse. So we play the tower. I mean, if I can't wish for Sundering Titan. I think Sky Sovereign is the pick, because that sticks around on board. It's either that or we play Thragtusk. I mean, I could wish for Sky Sovereign and then play Thragtusk. But I mean, like, the odds of my opponent having a Lightning Bolt and doing a ton of damage is pretty high. They can still only cast 1 spell. What is the most damage they could do to us? If I kill this Sprite Dragon, and they have a Lightning Bolt, they could bolt us down to 4 and hit us for 2. I think Sky Sovereign over Thragtusk. Because if they would just, like, immediately do more damage than we would gain life back otherwise. So play Sky Sovereign, shoot down the Sprite Dragon, pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Opponent hardcasts Light Up the Stage. They do find a land. They hit us for 2, we go to 5. Untap. We draw Karn Liberated. So I could play Thragtusk and Karn this turn, which is pretty sweet. So play an Urza's Mine. I don't think I'll need to Nature's Claim, and I couldn't anyway if I played Karn. So we'll play Thragtusk, play Karn Liberated. Game's over. We were going to animate Sky Sovereign using Karn. We weren't going to tap Thragtusk just in case they had like a haste ground attacker like Swift Spear, I guess. But, alright. I'll see you all in round 2. Alrighty, we're on the play for round 2. This is very close. Opponent is a Gigantha deck, so they're probably the 5-color Niv to Light, Scape Shift nonsense deck. So we're probably going to get unmoored egoed. I think we mulligan this. It's going to be pretty important to try and hit Tron on turn 3. I'm going to keep this, and I'm going to put back a tower. This is much better than our initial opener because we have multiple redraws, and basically for no other reason. So start Urza's Mine, Chromatic Sphere, pass the turn. Opponent plays Prismatic Vista and cracks for a snow-covered forest into a birds. We untap, draw an Ugin, sack Sphere for green. We get an Ancient Stirrings. I could dig 1 deeper with this other sphere prior to... Yeah, I think that's worth it. Ancient Stirrings, we're looking for power play. Found it. Rest of the bottom. Pass the turn. So turn 3 we'll play Karn Great Creator. Turn 4 we'll play Ugin the Spirit Dragon. And that probably will lock up the game. Opponent plays an island. They play Utopia Sprawl on red and play Saheeli Rai. Alright, so we're gonna get Felidard. I forgot I played against this deck recently. It's just cat combo. So they've tapped out. As long as they don't have force, we should be able to Sorceress Spyglass. So many birds. We should be able to Sorceress Spyglass Saheeli Rai. Draw Sylvan Scrying. We'll play Power Plant. View sideboard really quick. Is Spyglass the best option to wish for here? Yeah, Felidar only has 1 attack, so it's not like we can bridge it. We gotta go with Spyglass. Play Karn. Wish. Get Sorceress Spyglass. This is one time I'm also kind of glad that I have Spyglass over Pithing Needle, because I get a little more information here. They could play Teferi and bounce Spyglass, but they don't have enough Teferi and Felidar Guardian. So we name Saheeli Rai. Okay, pass the turn. Next turn, like, we just have to delay for 1 turn, so we can Ugin and wipe the entire board away. I think my opponent's best play would be to, well, I mean, if they drew a land, pretty sure they can Felidar, flickering a land, leaving up white, then play Teferi. Oh, can they do both? They can't. They have to flicker a land to play Teferi, and if they do that, they can't flicker Saheeli. So she's not an infinite combo. They have to flicker Saheeli to actually make it an infinite combo this turn. So we kind of got him a little bit. I mean, they're only like 1 mana from completely destroying us. So I think they just play Teferi. Okay, they play Felidar Guardian. And they flicker Saheeli. And they play Renin 6. Picking up a land. We untap. Draw Forest. Play a Forest. Play Ugin. Alright, game's over. Yeah, that was almost a one-sided like evacuation. So that would have been great. Versus Cat combo. We definitely want Dismember over Spatial Contortion, that much is for sure. Walking Ballista doesn't strike me as particularly good. Grave Hate, I don't think they even chord, so like Grafdigger's Cage doesn't do anything. Nature's Claim might have a little bit of game because they do play some ramp enchantments. I think I cut an Ulamog and a Thragtusk. Well, yeah, Thragtusk. Normally in this position, I would cut a Wormcoil Engine because then it's at least something else I can wish for, but I don't think that's super necessary. I mean, if we just have another fast Tron into like complete disruption hand, it'll be great. This is not what I asked for, though. We're gonna mulligan. Close. This is very close. I could put back O-Stone. I'm just gonna go to 5. Just gonna go to 4. There we go. Alright. We'll put back Wormcoil, Chromatic Sphere. Chromatic Sphere. We get a couple of redraws looking for Tron. Opponent starts by shocking a Stomping Ground into an Oath of Nissa. And they get a Wooded Foothills. We untap. We draw Thragtusk. Play Power Plant, play Star. Pass the turn. This might be one of those times where we have to be disciplined with our Star. They play Wooded Foothills and crack it. Then they play Birds. We untap. Draw another Tower. I think we wait 1 turn. I mean, the upside of drawing Scrying there would be enormous, but the downside of losing our green mana is potentially enormous as well. When it plays a Misty into a Damping Sphere. Alright, well, I'm glad I brought in Nature's Claim for unrelated reasons. We untap. We draw Forest. Now, I feel safe about cracking this now. We get a Sanctum. I'm going to play the Sanctum. Okay, pass the turn. Opponent fetches up a Ketria Triome. They play Saheeli Rai. They scry. We untap. We draw Blast Zone. I could play Blast Zone and immediately pop it to deny them mana. But if they have a land, we're just losing to it anyway. How do they scry? Does it matter? They scried to the bottom. I'm not really denying them colors of mana off of Oath of Nissa. This is just purely whether or not it's worth trying to blow up their 1-drop. I'm going to play Blast Zone, but I don't think I'm going to pop it. I think I have to... I think I have to tick it up to 2. We're probably just dead. Okay, they scry and deal a damage. They play Birds. Well, we could kill 2 birds now. We could kill 3 birds now. Alright. This probably is bait, but I'm going to take it. We untap. We draw Power Plant. Play Tower. Pass the turn. Opponent fetches, shocks, pings us with Saheeli. We play Teferi. We draw All Is Dust, which, I mean, would be sweet if I hadn't, if I hadn't cracked that Blast Zone, but if I hadn't cracked that Blast Zone, my opponent probably would have just had enough mana to kill me or whatever. Up to 7. I mean, if Thragtusk survives, we're attacking Saheeli. Okay. Well, we're casting All Is Dust next turn, then. Opponent will probably unsummon the Beast. Yep. Opponent plays another Oath of Nissa. The only problem with All Is Dust is it doesn't get rid of Damping Sphere, although Damping Sphere probably no longer relevant at this point, because we will have 7 mana. Alright, we untap. We draw Nature's Claim. That does matter a bit. Play Power Plant. Play All Is Dust. We are not going to sack Sanctum. Sometimes the 7 mana Wrath is actually really important. Other times, having O-Stone or Ugin is more important. So I think really a split amongst those 3 cards is the way to go. I don't like... I mean, All Is Dust has the worst downside. Like, if you don't assemble Tron, it's a turn 7 play. But, alright, opponent plays Wrenn 6, fetches up a land, plays Misty, cracks Misty, gets a snow-covered island, plays Teferi, upticks Teferi, sure. We untap, we draw Chromatic Sphere. They only have 1 card in hand. They put Misty Rainforest in their hand, they played it and cracked it. So I think what I'm going to do is play Karn. I am going to sack Sanctum. I'm going to get Walking Ballista. I could get Ulamog, because I'm probably going to like Nature's Claim next turn, but Walking Ballista does something a lot sooner. The question is, what are we doing with this Karn? And I think the answer is upticking on my opponent, because that gives them like 2 turns until they have to do something about Karn to stop him from ulting. There's a second Damping Sphere. And if they don't, we can just restart the game. Although I would restart the game with a Damping Sphere in play, which would be hilarious. It'd be so bad for us. Oh, that's funny. Opponent downticks Teferi to draw. I swear, okay. I was gonna say, if they played, what is it? If they played Felidar Guardian flickering a land and then played Saheeli Rai, I would be so mad. They play Prismatic Vista, they gain life. They fetch with Prismatic Vista, they get a bunch of mana. They play Saheeli Rai. They could even clone Omnath just to draw a card. It wouldn't be that unreasonable, except they know we put Walking Ballista in our hand. They clone Omnath to draw a card. Alright. They uptick Wrenn 6 to put a card in their hand, and they pass. We untap. We draw Karn, Great Creator. Don't really have anything that helps here. So I'm going to start by casting Walking Ballista for 3. Kill Saheeli. Kill Teferi. And we're going to exile Omnath. Pass the turn. We've only killed 2 Saheelis, and presumably they play 4. Opponent untaps. Obviously, if we could draw Urza's Mine, we could downtick, taking out Damping Sphere, and then have a ton of mana to play with Karn, Great Creator. They play another Omnath, draw a card. They play Misty, crack Misty. They play Felidar, flickering Omnath. We untap. We draw Sylvan Scrying. I can wish for Oblivion Stone. I could also wish for Sundering Titan. We could hit like 5 of their lands, which would be a huge deal. I have to downtick on Damping Sphere to do that. Would it be worth it? O-Stone might just be better. Do I have enough mana to play Karn, wish for O-Stone, and have mana left over to activate it? So I have the Sylvan Scrying, that's 2. I'll play mine, 2, 4, 6, 12 mana. Play Karn, down to 8. Exactly enough. I have to be careful about how I tap my lands, though. So, start Sylvan Scrying, get mine, take out Damping Sphere, play mine, play Karn, wish, get Oblivion Stone, play it. Pass the turn. I don't think we had a better play. And the reason that I say that is because even if I got Sundering Titan and nuked so many of my opponent's lands, they just like play a fetch land and get a million mana and we lose. So we don't actually deny them mana that way. The problem is, if I crack O-Stone here, I lose all of my threats. Alright. Opponent goes to combat. I mean, if they attack the Planeswalkers, we're going to lose them to O-Stone anyway. They're going to kill Karn, Great Creator, and hit Karn Liberated for 1. They're going to kill Karn Liberated and hit Karn Great Creator for 1. Sure. Karn Great Creator goes to 2. They're going to ping Karn Great Creator to 1, so we can't wish. And they play a fetch land, they gain life. They put Gigantha in their hand. Then they're passing. So we'll put a Fate counter on Karn. Untap. Let's see. Go to our main phase. Play Karn Liberated. Take out Omnath. Play Sphere. Animate Sphere. Pass. So now we have a blocker. I mean, they can downtick Wrenn 6 to kill it, but the 1 damage off of Felidar doesn't matter. Opponent plays Teferi, so we won't be able to cast spells. They're going to unsummon the sphere. Okay. And they go to combat. They're going to attack Karn Great Creator. Okay. Well, now because they're going to kill him, I think we are going to activate O-Stone. This does mean we lose Karn Liberated, but we get to keep Karn Great Creator. Opponent loses both their Planeswalkers and Felidar Guardian. Opponent can play Gigantha. Yep. Alright. We play a Wooded Foothills. We untap. We draw Ancient Stirrings. So start by casting Ancient Stirrings. We get an Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger, or Karn Liberated. Take Ulamog. Rest to the bottom, any order. Play Ulamog. Nuke Gigantha and a land. Then I think we do have to wish here and get like Sorceress Spyglass. There's just too high of a risk of us dying otherwise. So get Spyglass, play it. See what our opponent's got. Felidar Guardian. Okay. Name Saheeli Rai. Pass the turn. Leave up Nature's Claim, I guess. Probably not going to matter. Opponent untaps. And that's the game. Well, those felt pretty hard fought. I'll see you guys in round 3. Alright, we'll be on the play for round 3. And while this hand does technically assemble Tron, it's not until very late, so I'm going to mulligan. This hand is worse, somehow. The bar was pretty low, and we undershot it. Going to 5. Going to 4. Can't wait till I put Serum Powder in regular Tron just to help my mulligans. Alright, our hand of 4 is technically keepable. It's not great though. Alright, start. Power plant map. Minor tower. Minor tower. Come on, minor tower. You start Radiant Fountain. We draw Karn Great Creator. Pass the turn. So opponent is almost certainly Amulet Titan. Hopefully they have a really slow hand. I mean, thus far it's been pretty slow. That means they top-decked that forest. Okay, we're gonna get Mine. Untap. We draw Power Plant. Okay, not what we wanted. Come on, Tower. Come on, Urza's Tower. We need you. Just because you're the big player that taps for 3 doesn't mean that you get to make a dramatic entrance all the time. We need you to do your job. Opponent floats colorless, plays Selesnya Sanctuary, puts Radiant Fountain back into play with Soccer Tribe Scout, then plays a Dryad of the Elysian Grove, Boros Garrison, picking up Radiant Fountain. They'll have 6 mana next turn. Okay, play Star. Sack Star for green. Tower? Star. Play Star. Sack Star for green. Play Power Plant. And pretty sure this means we're dead. Because even if I draw a tower, it's not like I could play Karn, Wish for Sundering Titan, which is pretty much what I would need at this point. This is also one of the slowest Amulet Titan hands I've ever seen kept. Probably, well, no, because they went first, so they chose... Did they go first? I don't remember. If they went first, yeah, they went first, because they started with Radiant Fountain, I think. I don't know. I normally keep track of timing by land plays, so by my opponent getting so many extra, it's not like I can actually use my brain or anything. Okay, here comes the Titan. Opponent just gets Valakut, and we're dead. I really dislike Dryad of the Elysian Grove as a card, mainly because of interactions like these. Yeah, there's no coming back from that. Alrighty. We can answer like one of a couple of things, but we're going to bring in Claim, and Spatial Contortion. We're going to drop Thragtusk, Wormcoil, and Ballista. Ballista can technically kill Soccer Tribe Scout, which this list is running, but it's going to be a very weird hand that occurs in. Alright, we'll play first. Pretty high risk, high reward hand. We don't have a way to interact with what our opponent's doing. Sphere or Star gets us to Stirrings. I'm still going to mulligan. This is actually turn 3 Tron potential. I'm going to go to 5. There we go. Did it. We'll put back Scrying and... I need to keep the other tower to play Ulamog, but I need the Dismember to not die immediately. Alright, we're putting back the Dismember. Here we go. Power Plant map, go. If we could draw a Karn, that would be great. Opponent leads on Amulet, that's dangerous. We draw a Forest, not what we want. Play Tower, pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They play Colony Garden, untap it and get a token. Crack for Urza's Mine. We untap. We draw Spatial Contortion. That might do something. Pass the turn. Just got a bad feeling I'm going to get Ghost Quartered. Spatial Contortion can kill a Sakura Tribe Scout and kill an Azusa. Alright, opponent plays Valakut, untaps it. They play a Tireless Tracker. Get them. They hit us for 0 out of frustration and rage. We'll play an Urza's Tower. Play Ulamog. Hit Valakut and the Forest. That should set them back far enough. Watch them still win this game somehow. Maybe I should have taken out Amulet, because that is like core to their best draws, but the fact that my opponent took a turn off to play a tracker probably means we were fine. Alright, moving on to game 3. We'll be on the draw. Not looking forward to this, but we'll try it out. Going to 6. Going to 5. Alright. Put back Wormcoil, put back Sylvan Scrying. Other than, like, Tron Karn, we don't have a better hand than this going to 4. And while that hand is possible to mulligan into, and I have done it before, it's not super likely. So, we'll start Power Plant and Map. Opponent plays Valakut. Passes. We untap. Draw Mine. Alright, we might be getting somewhere. Pass the turn. Opponent's going to put a land into play. It's a Colony Garden. I'm going to kill this. We're not assembling Tron until, or we're not assembling Ugin until turn 4. I think taking out that Sakura Tribe Scout was absolutely worth it. Opponent has Rex Sage for map, that's fine because we have Scrying. Thankfully, that's fine. Opponent plays Castle Garenbrig. They could have Titan next turn. We draw Karn, play a Forest, Scrying for Tower, pass the turn. Just have to pray for no Ghost Quarter. Opponent plays Tireless Tracker, plays a Windswept Teeth, gets Clue. Cracks Windswept Teeth, gets Clue, draws a card, counter on Tracker, they hit us for 2, sure, we untap, draw another Karn, play Tower, play Ugin, -3, pass the turn. If my opponent has Amulet plus Titan, I think we're done, but short of that, we should be okay. Opponent leads on Explore, they don't have any more lands to play? Okay. They crack a Clue, they play a Forest, they play Scout, and they play Scout. Okay. Well, they only have one more card in hand. We draw Sylvan Scrying. So, -1 Ugin. Sylvan Scrying. We'll get another Tower. Play Karn. And we're going to exile Valakut. Pass the turn, just in case my opponent's last card is the Dryad. We don't want them to play Dryad and, like, draw land. Man, I'm good at this game. Okay, opponent left one card in hand. We draw a map. So, uptick Karn on my opponent's hand. I actually should have downticked Karn, then played the second one and upticked it, but it was another Dryad. Okay. Play Expedition Map. Crack Expedition Map. Get a Sanctum of Ugin. Play Sanctum. Play Karn. Sack Sanctum. Get Ulamog. Keep the new one. Downtick on Dryad. Uptick on opponent. Yeah, so we could have had a 7 loyalty Karn here. Hopefully that doesn't matter. I definitely sequenced those Karns in reverse, but we won the match, so that's what matters. I'll see you guys in round 4. Pardon the costume change, but it is now way late at night due to things that I had to do today. This is a mulligan, and we are on the play for round 4. This is somehow worse. Going to 5. Alright, I'm going to put back Thragtusk and Forest. Hopefully Ancient Stirrings gets us where we need to go off of Chromatic Sphere. So lead on Chromatic Sphere, pass the turn. Opponent plays Raugrin Triome. We untap, draw Karn, cycle for green, play Sphere, play Tower, cycle for green, Ancient Stirrings, looking for Urza's Mine. Another Tower, we found an Expedition Map. Guess I'll take Map. This will be a turn 4 Tron if Map resolves. So Raugrin Triome, opponent could be Jeskai Control, they could be Cat Combo, because that's been seeing a little bit of a resurgence. Kind of looks like Jeskai Control to me. I'm going to lead on Map. I'm not playing around Rune Snag. So opponent cracks Flooded Strand. They shock a Breeding Pool. Okay, this could be Niv to Light. This could be Scapeshift. This could be both. They Mana Leak. Alright. Play Chromatic Sphere, and we'll play another Power Plant. Pass the turn. Opponent plays Scalding Tarn. We untap. We draw a third power plant. I think I'm fine cycling for green here. Play power plant. Pass the turn. So may have cracked that a little bit prematurely, as now if we draw an Ancient Stirrings or a Sylvan Scrying, it could be bad. People get after me for this all the time, but at this stage of the game, I kind of just want to draw as many cards as possible. That's my natural instinct. It could be wrong. Opponent cycles a couple of Lonely Sandbars, plays Wrenn and 6. They can either pick up Scalding Tarn or pick up Sandbar, and I suspect they pick up... Oh, they pick up Flooded Strand. If we can draw an Urza's Mine, we can cast an Ulamog, and that would be a very, very good thing. They play a Ketria Triome. We get a map. Play map. They force it, pitching to Fairy. Alright, pass the turn. They untap. They pick up Lonely Sandbar. Play Flooded Strand. Crack Flooded Strand. They get a Hollowed Fountain tapped. They cycle Lonely Sandbar. We untap. Urza's Mine. Ancient Stirrings. Alright, pass the turn. Opponent picks up Lonely Sandbar. Cycles it again. Plays a Flooded Strand. Passes. We got the full play set of power plants. Pass the turn. This is not very likely to have occurred. So opponent untaps. I'm pretty sure this is Scape Shift and we just get Scape Shifted. They cycle Lonely Sandbar. They play a Flooded Strand. And they pass. We untap. Alright. I'm just going to go ahead and concede because they can ult Wrenn and 6 and then there's nothing we can do. Alright. So versus our opponent, we're going to Veil of Summer. Walking Ballista not very good here. Take out a Wormcoil Engine as well, I think. Probably want Nature's Claim, as I suspect they'll play Damping Sphere. It's unlikely we need Dismember, even if they are playing Omnath. And I'm going to cut a Thrag Tusk. And we'll try like this. Alright, we'll play first. That's a mulligan. God, this is so close. No green mana. I think we go mulligan again. Going to 4. Alright, we'll keep. We'll put back Forest, Ancient Stirrings. Oh, I gotta put back another card? Alright, we're putting back Sylvan Scrying. And here comes the Force Negation. There's 100% chance they have Force Negation. Yep. When you mulligan this low, your opponent, it's worth for them to just spend the card disadvantage to get you. Like, they lead on Breeding Pool tapped. Yeah, without some very lucky top decks, we're probably just screwed. Opponent plays a tap land, we untap. Well, we draw a power plant. If we can top deck Tower, we're in a good spot. Opponent shocks a Steam Vents, passes. We draw Expedition Map. Play Expedition Map. It's something we can force them to counter. Okay. I guess there's no reason to do this right now. They could have Tail's End, and if they do, I would rather crack map on my opponent's turn. They play Scalding Tarn. They pass. Let's go get Tower on their end step. We untap. Draw another map. Players is Tower. I'm going to go with Big Karn Liberated, because they're likely to have at least one counterspell. If they don't, Karn is a huge impact, and if they do, then we can follow up with Karn Great Creator, and maybe even wish for, like, Sundering Titan, that kind of a thing. I'm going to crack Scalding Tarn, so this is probably a Cryptic command. That or they want a thin, like, pre-remand or something. But it's probably Cryptic. They could counter and bounce a land, though that would only work if they had another Cryptic and were willing to repulse, I think, on their own turn. Yep, counter draw. Play map, pass. Opponent untaps. They play a Ralgrin Triome tapped. We untap and get an Ancient Stirrings, so fire off Ancient Stirrings. Okay, they didn't take the bait to counter that. We'll take Ulamog. Rest of the bottom. Crack map. We'll get another tower. Play tower. Play Karn. We can play through a mana leak here. And if Karn resolves, we could get Liquimetal Coating. Alright. They counter Karn and draw. Pass the turn. Well, unless they have Vendilion Click or a way to make us discard, we will be casting an Ulamog. Okay, Omnath. So if they have a fetch land, they can go for a big mana turn, and they do, because they always do. Okay, put a Cracks Misty, gets a snow-covered island, floats 4 mana. And they play Wrenn and 6. They pick up a land. Then they play Jace the Mind Sculptor. Okay, and they brainstorm. So, I mean, odds are we are probably dead to... We're probably dead to Escape Shift of some, like, or some other Haymaker. We have 11 mana. I can spend 3 of it and go to 8. I can get a redundant Tron land, but I can't get the Sanctum of Ugin to double Ulamog, which would be fantastic. If I cast Ulamog, I definitely have to take out their Planeswalkers. I might be able to leave them with Wrenn and 6, but that's... I think we just Ulamog and take out the Planeswalkers. I want to take them off of mana, but opponent had a huge turn last turn with Omnath, so... Cast Ulamog. Exile the Planeswalkers. I mean, it might be correct to have hit, like, Omnath and Jace, but... Maybe it was correct to... I don't know if it was correct to leave them with Jace. Maybe I could have. It would be really funny if they were forced to unsummon Ulamog and then we just hit them with Ulamog again, but... When it plays Scalding Tarn, they gain life. They crack Scalding Tarn. They get mana. They play Big Teferi. They tuck Ulamog. They go to combat, hit us for 4. Well, if we draw an Ancient Stirrings, we can force them to counter it. We draw Thragtusk. Play Thragtusk. I don't really want to crack map here, because we'll be drawing Ulamog soon-ish. Okay, Thragtusk resolves. We gain 5. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They draw an extra card. They play a Field of Ruin. Well, if they field us and we're going to shuffle anyway, we might as well go get whatever Tron land they hit. Clever. Well, it's still correct to use this for something. So... I guess I'll go get Power Plant, they'll hit mine. This gives them a bunch of mana from the landfall trigger. I'm really glad that this deck that I'm playing against is not like the top deck in the meta, so much so that it's the only deck that you play against. I find myself getting frustrated having to play against it still, because it's still powerful, but I'm just glad that it's not as common as it used to be, really. They path Thragtusk, get a forest. Well, now we can at least top deck Karn and cast him. Even if he'll likely get countered from my opponent drawing so many cards. Opponent leaves back Omnath on defense to protect the Hero of Dominaria. We untap. We draw a Chromatic Star. Play Star. Sack it for green. We draw Ulamog again. Play Power Plant. Pass the turn. Well, if we can draw mine... Which, there should be 3 left in the deck, so 3 out of 42 chance. Opponent plays a Misty Rainforest, gains a bunch of life. Cleansing Wildfire, a tower. Get a forest. They play Teferi Time Raveler. Bouncing our token. They go to combat, hit us for 4, we go to 17. Urza's Mine off the top 1 time. Nature's Claim. That doesn't really do anything. Pass the turn. I mean, this game's probably been over for a while, but... We're still not technically dead yet. They uptick Big Teferi, they uptick Little Teferi. They play Scalding Tarn, gain life. Hit us for 4. We go to 3. They have no lands to untap. We untap. Draw Urza's Tower. So they Cleansing Wildfire our tower. Okay. Play tower. Pass the turn. I mean, if they Cleansing Wildfire this tower, I'm pretty much good to call it. Because the odds that we draw a 3 of Tron land and a 1 of Tron land to get to Ulamog is fairly low. They're already back to 7 cards in hand, so I mean, like, if we could get a hit in with Ulamog, literally, if we just attack with Ulamog, I'm pretty sure it's game over. It's just the odds of getting there are so low. Oblivion Stone, we can't even activate. Yeah, alright. I will see you all in round 5. That's a tough matchup. Alright, we'll be on the play for round 5. This hand is not super bad. I think I'm actually going to keep this. So, turn 2, if we can Ancient Stirrings into a Tron land, we can play another star or sphere and have turn 4 Tron, which on the play might actually be good enough. I'm going to lead on sphere. Normally I like leading on star, but it's unlikely that our opponent has Artifact Destruction in the 1 mana slot game 1. Alright, so this is probably Heliod Company. We draw an Ulamog. So cycle sphere for green, we draw another Power Plant, play an Ancient Stirrings. No Tron land. Take Expedition Map, rest to the bottom. Play Power Plant, play Map, pass the turn. I could have taken Ugin there, and then just played Star and tried to cast Scrying next turn, but this gives me 2 guaranteed land tutors. And if I draw the last Tron piece, I can tutor for a Tron piece and only show them the one that I tutor for next turn by doing this play. This also prevents them from, say, sacking a Ranger Captain of Eos to stop us from casting anything next turn, like we could still crack map. Opponent could just wait to sack a Ranger Captain in that scenario, but... Second, Utopia Sprawl. Well, if we ever Karn, we're getting triple value. Or Ulamog, we're getting double value. Opponent plays Heliod. We untap, draw O-Stone, crack map, get a mine, play the mine, play the star. The problem is next turn we only have 5 mana at most. Unless we top deck Tower. If we top deck Tower, we can play Karn, and that will probably be enough to disrupt whatever they're doing. Opponent plays Misty. If we top deck Tower, we could also play and activate O-Stone. Okay, opponent plays Ranger Captain. If we want to go on the O-Stone plan, we actually have 2 draws at it. But opponent will likely just sack Ranger Captain, knowing that we don't have a lot of instants to interact with, or a lot of creature spells that will actually interact with what our opponent is doing. I think if they just sack Ranger Captain, we're done. Yep, and it would have been so good, too. We do have a Dismember in the deck, so we're just going to try and hit the Dismember. Oh, we drew the Tower. Unfortunately, we only have 8 mana, and Ulamog is 10. And we die next turn, so we have to concede. Alright, versus my opponent's deck, I want Spatial Contortion, I want Nature's Claim, and I actually kind of want Walking Ballista here. I'm going to drop a Worm Coil, a Thrag Tusk, 1 Oblivion Stone in case I need to wish for it, and honestly, I think the other Thrag Tusk. I'll try like this. Alright, game 2, Natural Tron Karn. Keep. We do have Nature's Claim as well, so if we draw a Sphere or a Star, we could hit a Damping Sphere. Play Power Plant, pass the turn. If opponent starts Mana Dork, I will absolutely Walking Ballista to ping it. Opponent plays Temple Garden tapped. We untap, draw Karn, Great Creator. Players is mine, play Walking Ballista, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Plains, Damping Sphere. Alright. Sphere or Star, please. Forest works too. Second Nature's Claim. While hilarious, not exactly what I'm looking for. Go to combat, attack for 1. If we can get 2 counters on this Ballista, we can animate their Damping Sphere and shoot it down with Karn Great Creator. The good thing here is my opponent cannot cast multiple spells a turn either. Second Damping Sphere. That is a little bit of an issue. Well, counter on Ballista, go to combat, hit them for 2. Opponent goes to 17, they untap. They play a Windswept Teeth, they pass the turn, we untap. We draw another Karn Great Creator, play Karn. Okay, so opponent is going to Collected Company here. Just kind of have to hope we don't die. Well, we won't as long as we have Karn, I guess, because my opponent can't just activate, they can't activate their Walking Ballista. The thing is, do I wish or do I not? I could wish for Sky Sovereign, though I can't play it right away. I could wish for O-Stone, which would be nice. I unfortunately don't have a way to wish for green mana. I think I wish for O-Stone. Pass the turn. I'm not going to attack here. Not into a Collected Company. Okay. There's Coco. Opponent gets Spike Feeder and Ranger Captain. Alright. So we're losing Karn this turn. I could block and ping down Spike Feeder. I guess I would ping Spike Feeder in response to a Heliod, maybe. Opponent plays a Horizon Canopy. Goes to combat. Attacks Karn, attacks Karn. Well, I can't really... I have to have Karn survive this turn. Because if I don't at least kill Spike Feeder, there's a really good chance my opponent can just play Heliod Walking Ballista on 1, and then gain life a couple of times to make Ballista big enough to kill me. They can't give it lifelink, though. Maybe I should have just let Karn die. The problem is, if they sack Ranger Captain next turn, I can't play anything. Well, I guess I could wish for and play the other... No, I brought the Walking Ballista in. I can't wish for anything and play it. Okay, second Ranger Captain. Opponent gets another Walking Ballista. They now have 2. They let us untap. We draw a Spatial Contortion. I have no exiled artifacts. I guess I'll wish. If I had drawn a land, I would be playing O-Stone. But since I didn't, I'm going to get Sorceress Spyglass. Then we'll play Spyglass. Ballista, Ballista, Skyclave Apparition, Eladamri's Call. Okay. Name Walking Ballista. Pass the turn. We do have Spatial Contortion, so we can kill something. Opponent's casting Eladamri's Call, I think. Yep. They get Heliod, so they'll have the combo. They untap. They play a Horizon Canopy. Oh, they have 2 Damping Spheres. I should be playing differently. They can't cast multiple spells a turn. So they're going to kill Karn. They play Heliod. Alright. We untap. We draw a Power Plant. Play Power Plant. Play Oblivion Stone. I'm surprised they didn't sack the Ranger Captain. So we can kill the first Walking Ballista, I guess, with Spatial Contortion. Oh, they have Skyclave, so they can just kill O-Stone. Man, I wish I could remember these things. Uh-huh. Yep. Alright. Opponent goes to combat. Attacks. So we can tort the Skyclave Apparition. They at least can't Ballista us out because we have Sorcerer's Spyglass, I guess. Now that they've given up their answer to Spyglass. We get a 3/3. Trade with a Ranger Captain. This also will de-animate Heliod. Okay. Opponent passes. We draw an Urza's Mine. Play Urza's Mine. We're up to 6 mana. Play Karn. I could wish for another O-Stone. I can't do anything with anything this turn. Sundering Titan's too expensive. Wormcoil Engine's too slow. Sky Sovereign does kill stuff. Maybe I get Sky Sovereign? I could also just uptick Karn. And wait until next turn. I'm not animating Sorcerer's Spyglass. I think that gives them more ways to kill it. So we're just going to uptick Karn and pass. I guess if they have more white mana symbols they can put on board, this is a mistake, but kind of grasping right now anyway. If we hit a 7th land, we could hit Karn. We haven't hit a Sphere, Star, or Forest all game. That was like the worst possible outcome. Was my opponent to have a Skyclave Apparition there. That's pretty unbelievable. So they're going to hit us for 8. We're going to 4. What are they casting? Utopia Sprawl. Okay. So they hit us for 8. We go to 4. Are we just dead if they sack Ranger Captain? It doesn't matter. We're just dead anyway. Well, that sucks. The first natural Tron hand we have in what feels like forever, and opponent has double Damping Sphere, and despite having our answers, we just don't draw green mana. But sometimes that's the way it is. We still 3 and 2, which is respectable. Let's go ahead and open our treasure chest here. See what we get. 10 play points and a Siege Gang Commander. Nothing too exciting. I gotta get to bed, so I'm gonna try and make this quick and not ramble quite so much. I still think Walking Ballista is bad in the main deck. I will stand by that for a very long time. Not that any particular thing I would normally replace it with would be good here, but it's so awkward. It's only good if you're playing it with Tron mana, really, or at worst, it's like a Spatial Contortion because you snipe a 1/1. And frequently, I think it would be better as a Dismember or as a Spatial Contortion if you're worried about that. Yeah, it fireballs your opponent. Like, you can play it on, turn 2 and then basically uptick it once or twice, turn 3 and 4. Like that kind of a thing. But I just don't like the card. I'm not saying there's like a ton of better options as far as like things that can threat or be a threat or end the game. And I definitely think it's worth keeping a Walking Ballista in your sideboard slot, because sometimes just wishing for it and playing it's great. I mean, it does have a little bit of synergy, because if you have Tron plus Sanctum of Ugin, it can sack Sanctum of Ugin if you play it for 8, and then you can go get, your Wormcoil Engines or your Ulamogs, depending on how you're going to follow that up. I was kind of getting used to Golos Tron a little bit prior to this, and I still think they're about equally competitive right now. I don't think one is particularly better than the other. I don't really have any further insight right now. I think I'm kind of tapped out for the day. So I'm going to leave it at that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel if you're so inclined, and remember you can follow me on Twitch. Same username over there as you find me on here. I stream Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, though the last few times have been earlier than that. Still not early enough all the time frequently for me to actually change the stream time, but we're really close to 1,000 subs, so if you haven't yet and you watched this far, please subscribe to the channel. It'd mean the world to me if you did. Once we hit that all-important 1,000 mark, I can get a little bit of passive income from ad revenue, which would be much appreciated. And other than that, I want you to know that you're all wonderful human beings, and I really appreciate your viewership, and I hope that I can continue making content that you all enjoy. Good night, everybody. Bye.